Let's begin at the State House. President Bola Tinubu is to embark on a state visit to China in the first week of September. Presidential advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Nglale, announced this at a press briefing at the State House. The presidential spokesman says President Tinubu, at a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, is expected to sign memorandum of understanding on various aspects of the economy. These include green economy, agriculture, media enterprise development and promotion, as well as blue economic developments. Nglale says the president is also scheduled to engage in meetings and activities that will have immediate and future benefits on the nation's economy and its people, particularly on information technology, financial services, oil and gas, aluminium production, satellite technology developments, as well as construction.
His Excellency, Mr. President, will conduct site visits to two major Chinese corporations, Huawei Technologies, as well as the China Rail and Construction Corporation, CRCC. This is with a view to achieve one of Mr. President's top agenda items, which is the completion of the Ibadan to Abuja segment of the Lagos to Kano high-speed rail line.
The president will also attend the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, also scheduled for the first week of September. Micro, small, medium-scale businesses in the textile industry, as well as information and communication technology, have been boosted with the inauguration of a world-class fashion and ICT hub in Benue State. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the flag-off of the facility in Makurdi encouraged the state government to expand its capacity to create more jobs and improve economies. Elias Itiav reports that the Vice President was represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hadejia.
Earlier in January 2024, the Nigeria's Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, at the expanded National Micro, Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises Clinic in Makurdi, promised the establishment of a world-class fashion hub in the state, and 7 months later, the Vice President has kept to his words with the flag-off of the dual-purpose facility. Representative of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Hadejia, described the project as a landmark achievement and passion of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to create jobs, industrialize the economy, and support ease of doing business through access to financing and creating competitive markets.
Listening to His Excellency's speech and his request for monogram sewing machines, I would like to borrow a commitment from my principal, the Vice President, to say that we will deploy monogram machines to this facility.
Governor Hyacinth earlier, who appreciated the federal government in promoting creativity, innovation and skills development, said his administration remains resolute in attracting growth and development in all sectors of the economy.
We are not only expanding the labor market, but also supporting the skills required.
Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Anite, and Doctor of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Usev, as well as the Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment in the state, Alumo Opin, urged residents of the state and even beyond to take advantage of the hub to improve their livelihoods. The Fashion and ICT Hub, which is described as the largest in Nigeria, boasts of over 200 pieces of fashion designing machinery, 100 ICT devices, and a 100 kVA generator to ensure 24-hour power supply. The Vice President also inaugurated the rehabilitated complex of the Benue Printing and Publishing Company with the state-of-the-art facilities under the public-private partnership. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, Nta News.
And Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, says the federal government is fully committed to providing the necessary resources needed to ensure effective administration of the nation's extractive industry for more impact on the nation's economy. This was during a working visit to the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
The visit is seen as a significant step in the federal government's ongoing efforts to bolster transparency and good governance within the extractive sector.
We are hopeful that moving forward, moving forward, we'll collaborate, a lot closer, work more directly with you, and be able to address that particular challenge to the extent that we can address it.
The report ongoing now will be published September 24 this year to bring our report 2022-2023 all together. And we are covering all the solid minerals, oil and gas, and we're also tracing all those agencies that receive money directly from Federation account are covered by us, DDC, TED Fund, PDTF, and so on.
For Nta, the goal is one: ensuring the revenues from Nigeria's oil, gas and mining sectors are properly accounted for and used for the benefit of all Nigerians. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBIC, has scored ministries, departments and agencies high on the ease of doing business, with an appeal for more work to be done for the nation's economy to thrive. This was at the half-year report on ease of doing business in Abuja. Here again is Benny Adams.
The Nigerian Content Development Board ranked first, followed by Standards Organization of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Agency sits on the third spot with 74.8% score. Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business, Dr. Jumoke Oduole, says the PEBIC Secretariat has tracked and ranked the implementation and compliance of MDAs using the Business Facilitation Act 2022. She says from January to June 2024, PEBIC ranked the 40 priority MDAs in compliance to provision of services in an efficient, timely and customer-friendly manner.
And the economy just has to export, has to produce and export. So the PEBIC's mandate is to make sure we're more productive as an economy, we're more competitive as an economy. And we do this by removing bureaucratic and legislative bottlenecks. We work essentially on soft infrastructure, and we work on what businesses have told us are their pain points.
Oduole noted that there has been significant improvement in the overall rankings compared to last year, 2023, with 60% of MDAs now scoring above average. She emphasized the need for MDAs to do more for economic growth.
So we want every agency to pay attention, to notice the red, and to notice that Nigerians are noticing the red, and to turn it around. Let's make it green.
PEBIC appeals to businesses to report challenges for proper responses using a 72-hour deadline using their online platforms. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has called on the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, to further strengthen mechanisms to address the challenges of rapid spread of misinformation, disinformation and fake news that hinder progress and erode trust between government and the people. This was when the minister paid a working visit to the BBC headquarters in London. In a statement by his special advisor, the visit is part of a bridge building and cooperation effort between the ministry, foreign and local media houses. The minister met with the BBC's top management, headed by Jonathan Munro, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of BBC News and Director of the BBC World Service, where he canvassed the need to foster understanding as a key element in driving development. He also underscored the importance of the corporation to balance its reportage on Nigeria by highlighting the progress and successes of the country. The minister praised the BBC's expansion of operational reach in Nigeria by creating more language options in Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba and Pidgin, which help in the cascading of information, employment and training of more Nigerians. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for the enforcement of stiffer laws and punishments to perpetrators of sexual abuse and other forms of gender-based violence in the country. She made the call at the first Gender and Social Norms Summit 2024, organized by the United Nations Population Fund in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative. State House correspondent Nta News24 reports that the summit again shone the spotlight on the menace of gender-based violence.
Whereas recent statistics suggest improvement in female genital mutilation and few other issues that affect women and the girl child, still, gender-based violence is an abiding reality, challenging the ability of women to enjoy their womanhood and contribute to national development. Social and gender norms, both described as unwritten rules and expectations that define acceptable standard within a group or roles within the family, have been identified as underlying factors by experts who are gathered at this summit, organized in partnership with Renewed Hope Initiative to build needed solidarity against the menace. Leading the charge, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says while state-specific action plans are developed and allocation of adequate resources are promoted in government budget to support gender equality initiatives, law enforcement must be prioritized to stem violence against women.
Even our babies are violated. Do we allow this trend to continue, or do we look the other way? That is why I'm calling on the law enforcement agencies, the Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General of the Federation, the Chairman of the National Assembly, to appropriate and enforce stiffer laws and punishments for perpetrators of rape, sexual violence, and other forms of gender-based violence. No guilty party should be allowed to go free and start roaming the streets looking for the next victim.
The first point of call is, of course, to ensure that all our girls attend school.
We, the Ministry of Women Affairs, will move further to make sure there will be consequences if you commit such crime. We have our whistleblowers that will give us information in case they try it again.
The Federal Ministry of Youth Development has concluded plans to establish a new Department of Youth Wellbeing. This department will be dedicated to tackling issues such as gender-based violence, harmful social norms, and addressing and providing support for mental health to young people.
Getting the buy-in of the subnationals and traditional institutions is key.
We're working at the grassroots to support you in getting your programs done.
And as a token of their commitment to carry the torch in their respective states, wives of state governors joined the First Lady to sign a compact agreement on the resolutions of the summit. From the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Nta News24, Nta News.
This is the News at 10 on Nta News24. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
You're welcome back. The House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals is canvassing support for the proposal to allocate 10% of revenue from the mining sector for the development of host communities. This was during an oversight visit by members of the committee to mining sites in Kogi State, where they also advocated fair pricing of cement by manufacturers. National Assembly correspondent Nta News24 reports.
Lawmakers continue investigation into the arbitrary increase in cement price with this visit to Kogi State, where they are first received by the Deputy Governor.
Any company or an individual that wants to mine the mineral resources, the solid mineral we have in Kogi State, must come and reside with us in Kogi State.
There must be a new regime in environmental remediation.
so that these holes that have been dug can be covered and our people go back to farming, because we're agrarian by nature.
Next port of call was the Dangote cement plant and mining sites at Obajana and Oyoiwa, where limestone, the critical resource for cement production, is being excavated in millions of metric tons.
The scale of mining going on here at this site in Oworo in Kogi State said to be about 40 feet deep. It's one of the reasons why the House Committee on Solid Minerals is concerned about the environmental impact on surrounding communities.
At an interactive session, the lawmakers insist on rational pricing of cement, considering that the raw materials are sourced locally.
We want the input ratio for production of 1 bag of cement.
If you are getting the raw materials, all the raw materials in Nigeria, I don't think anything justify that high price of cement.
You saw the size of the equipment. A man was looking like a dwarf compared to the tire of it.
All mining equipment consume diesel. We don't use electricity. From bulldozers to payloaders to dump trucks, they are consuming diesel.
We will probably mine over 20 trillion naira out of this budget. If something like this is done in a community of this nature, how would they prove? We shouldn't be looking for microscope to look at, to see your impact in the community.
Give us empowerment, empower the youths. It's enough for them.
The committee emphasizes that it is not on a witch hunt, but seeks fair pricing of cement to promote affordable housing for Nigerians. From Obajana in Kogi State, Mitaire Ikwe, Nta News.
Let's focus on health-related matters now. The federal government has taken delivery of 10,000 doses of Jynneos vaccine donation from the United States government through the U.S. Agency for International Development to strengthen the national response to the current Mpox outbreak. At the official handing over of the vaccine at the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency headquarters in Abuja, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Patti, said the federal government remains resolute in improving the health of citizens. Olusheye Adeagbo has details.
Safety and security of frontline Nigerian workers and others engaged in preventing the spread.
A move to counter transmission of Mpox in Nigeria, and in the message of the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, the donation of the vaccine is timely. The United States pledged continued support to Nigeria as regards prevention of infectious diseases.
So on behalf of the Coordinating Minister of Health, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want to say thank you very much and most sincerely to the United States government for this wonderful donation that will help our Nigerian citizens and to help improve the population health outcomes.
Nigeria government has put together a vaccination plan. So there's a plan how to use these vaccines effectively, how to make sure we get the most effect out of this 10,000 vaccine donation. So that's very much why Nigeria was chosen to receive this first batch. We will continue to work with Nigeria.
While the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, speaks on reaching affected areas, especially most vulnerable population, with the vaccine. The country representative of the World Health Organization confirmed the authenticity of the vaccine.
We believe our frontline health workers are at particular risk. We are also going to prioritize states that have had the highest number of cases. Many of them are in the south, but of course we're going to have to work with the states to develop state-specific plans, to make sure that the vaccine is appropriately deployed.
The vaccine that Nigeria just received today is a safe vaccine. It has been used for smallpox, but they have shown some efficacy with the Mpox, and we believe we should be informed by our science and not amplify misinformation.
The latest Mpox epidemiological summary from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC. Nigeria has no records of deaths from 40 confirmed cases. In Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, Nta News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has inaugurated the National Task Force for Antimicrobial Resistance Stewardship in an effort to mitigate the growing threat of antimicrobial resistance, AMR, through a coordinated national strategy. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the team of health experts are to coordinate AMR strictly on humans.
64,500 deaths in Nigeria have been attributed to antimicrobial resistance, according to 2019 health survey. To stop further devastation on human health and enhance surveillance systems to monitor resistance patterns and promote public awareness about the responsible use of antibiotics, this National Task Force for Antimicrobial Resistance Stewardship is inaugurated to, among other things, spearhead national initiatives aimed at controlling the misuse and overuse of antibiotics and other antimicrobial agents.
This task force will support in several areas of our national antimicrobial research, surveillance, and antimicrobial stewardship. Activities will be developed around 3 thematic areas, which are as follows: coordinate AMR surveillance and research activities in humans in a country.
I therefore charge the task force members to bring expertise to bear and commit themselves to this important national assignment in line with the terms of reference as we seek to improve population health outcomes and build a resilient health system.
The team, which comprises healthcare professionals and international partners, is to address these challenges through coordinated action and strategic planning.
I hope that everybody will work with us, people in healthcare institutions, the public, other agencies, give us information that we need to move forward and put everything together in a way that everybody can access and understand what is going on.
We will continue to support AMR in implementing science and evidence-based interventions and innovations, scaling up the actions in Nigeria.
Antimicrobial resistance happens when microorganisms resist antimicrobial medicines that are meant to kill them or limit their growth. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Tulip International College says it is aware of the rapid advancement artificial intelligence technology is bringing into education systems and is now equipping its workforce with necessary skills to meet up with the latest advancements in teaching and learning. Managing Director of NTIC, Feyzullah Bilgin, at the annual Teachers Training Workshop, added that the institution remains resolute in sustaining mutual responsibility for students' success in all facets of life. Olusheye Adebo reports.
It's few weeks to the resumption of the 2024-2025 academic session, and the Nigerian Tulip International College says its mandate remains sustaining its decades of legacy. Preparations to achieving its set targets is on course as NTIC brings its group of educators from its branches nationwide, primarily to equip them with modern techniques of imparting knowledge when the new academic session commences.
As NTIC, which has a legacy of 26 years, so we have always looking for the best and excellence. Of course, we would like to introduce new things to our programs, so to enrich our educational quality that students are going to be enjoying in our classes, like introducing digital education to our program, to our educational program, like coding, and then like Innovatic Center.
You can connect your class studio on your phone as well. Now, for example, I'm displaying there, and it's also connected to my phone.
The NTIC 2024 Teachers Training Workshop is themed Teaching Excellence in Digital Age, and Elder Yilmaz has been speaking on its benefits.
The world has transformed digitally, so that every day new AI tools are coming up and new programs are coming up. So we want our teachers to use these new programs, new things in their classrooms to make the classrooms more interactive.
in separate extensive sessions for NTIC teachers in its secondary, nursery and primary schools. Instructors from relevant fields seek to acquaint the participants with immeasurable benefits of artificial intelligence and how to make it unconditionally functional.
Training and retraining, they are very, very key in quality assurance, particularly the NTIC that is really bracing up for quality. Teaching is not static, it's flexible. So with time, you imbibe new ideas.
This has been our tradition for many years, and we hope that this year will not be different. Our teachers will gain more and do well with our students in the next academic session.
We'll be sharing educational documents, resource materials to ensure that our teachers go back to their various states to deliver what they know how to do best. And another year of NTIC winning for Nigeria in education.
With long list of academic achievements attained in last session to include the 2024 JAMB examination, where 60 of the NTIC students scored more than 300, a new record in the college history. The management is upbeat of better performance in future engagements. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, Nta News.
You're still on to the news at 10 on Nta News 24. We'll take another break. Stay with us. The Fiscal Responsibility Commission wants subnational governments to domesticate the Fiscal Responsibility Act to achieve financial transparency. Executive Chairman of the Commission, Victor Muruako, in a message, disclosed this during a study visit by the Bauchi State Bureau of Public Procurement in Abuja. Alika Okmanachi Arwa reports.
Complementing the federal government's renewed efforts to counter financial recklessness, the Fiscal Responsibility Commission is categorical that domestication of its acts at state levels remains the major antidote. The chairman atomized the benefits of domesticating the acts, which include attracting assistance from international organizations.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act makes it mandatory for us at the federal level to go down to the states and help them build capacity so that they will know how to operate the laws at those levels of government.
The Bauchi State delegation is quite certain that financial management in the state will receive a new style.
We enjoy it really, and we are learning a lot. Checkmating, we have department in some ministries, directorate in some ministries that are checking out all these things.
So far, we are so much impressed of the high level of the warmly welcomed by the officials of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, and we expect much from them.
Besides the domestication of the act, it was unanimously agreed that interaction between the Fiscal Responsibility Commission and the state government is needed to actualize financial transparency. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi, Arua, Nta News.
All is now set for the burial of Lieutenant Commander Gideon Gwaza at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja. He was a naval officer who died while rescuing 59 people. And defense correspondent Najatu Tijani is joining me now live at the ceremony to tell us about the situation there. Hello, Najat.
Dennis, we're live at the National Military Cemetery here in Abuja, where tributes are currently being paid to the late officer and gentleman who is being described as a hero. It's very sad for me to have to show you the coffin of this officer who lies here, and you can see his boots and his beret on his coffin. But that is not all that is left of this officer and gentleman. His good works are actually being hailed here today. His acts of heroism. He responded to a distress call from a dredging vehicle in River State, and he led a team to go rescue the crew of 59 members who were on the verge of drowning. And while rescuing these people, the officer lost his life in the process. An act which is being described as a selfless sacrifice, and some of these themes are being played out here today. The Chief of Defense Staff is being represented, the Chief of Naval Staff, who is the chief mourner who has lost one of his men, is also here. And last week, when the news had to be broken to the family of the deceased, the Chief of Naval Staff described him as a stellar officer and gentleman, promising, of course, to do what is right by his family. And that is also one of the themes that is being played out here as well. Welfare for widows of fallen heroes, taking care of their children. It is expected that the community should rally around them. So in any moment from now, the Chief of the Naval Staff will be giving his remarks, after which, of course, there will be the ceremony proper will begin, the military ceremony of the Revive. That is the Beagle call, for which represents his sacrifice and the fact that a day will come when he will rise. The Revive is a French word gotten from the French word se réveiller, which means to be revived or to wake up. And so, of course, military tradition, it was used to wake officers on the base so that they could go about their duties. And in this context here, it is expected that a day will come when he will rise up again. And in the course of the ceremony, you will see his colleagues, his course mates, those he trained with, bear up his coffin, bearing up the burden, bearing up his works, and then returning him to Mother Earth, where mankind came from. One other thing to know, Dennis, before we sign out, because any moment from now, like I said, the CNS will be giving his remarks, he was a lieutenant commander. That is an equivalent of major in the Nigerian army. So the equivalent is lieutenant commander in the Navy, where this officer was serving in River State. His sister paid a tribute to him. His wife as well has just finished paying a tribute, saying that, telling people that they should value these officers, value soldiers, value these people who sacrifice themselves so that the nation can be safe and secure.
Okay, Naja, many thanks for giving with us that overview of what is certainly going to be a befitting send-off for late Lieutenant Commander Gideon Gwaza, and may his soul rest in peace. Thank you, Naja.
Thank you, Dennis.
Now, economic empowerment is spanning across the 23 local government areas of Rivers State. This time, it is the turn of the Oyibo local government area. And Osinachi Samuel reports that rehabilitation of community schools for effective teaching and learning, as well as provision of operational vehicles for security agencies to beef up security, were among the reliefs and support received from the simplified movement.
Driven by Governor Siminalayi Fubara's Rivers First mantra of Rivers money for Rivers people, Oyibo local government area is witnessing the ongoing economic empowerment that touched most LGAs in Rivers State, improved security in the community primary and secondary schools for effective teaching and learning, as well as distribution of 19 vehicles to security operatives and deserving individuals across the 10 wards of Oyibo local government area. The caretaker committee chairman, Gogo Philip, lauded Governor Fubara for giving the youths the opportunity to serve. Highlighting key achievements of his administration, he informed the people that the council is set to commence payment of bursary.
And for us to show that we appreciate what has been given to us by His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, is to do what pleases the people. You can see the people are happy, everybody is happy.
Rivers State Commissioner for Youth and leader of the Simplified Movement in Oyibo local government area, Chisom Bali, commends Governor Fubara for his proactive and inclusive governance, noting that the governor has changed the dynamics of politics in Rivers State.
Your Excellency, by the time we finish what we are going to do in Oyibo local government, don't bother to come and campaign here. Your second tenure is seamless, is walkover. Because your people will judge you on what you can build, not what you destroy.
Representing the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, at the event is the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Victor Okojumbo. He appreciates the people of Oyibo for maintaining peace and supporting the government of the day.
His Excellency gave the opportunity to a son from Ward 5 to be caretaker committee chairman of Oyibo, which makes it first in history. Wherever you are, Your Excellency, may this God Almighty that we serve continue to not just bless, but guide and protect you.
The people of Oyibo local government area are, no doubt, witnessing a socio-political and economic transformation and a new era of impactful governance at the grassroots.
Now thank our council chairman that look from Ward 1 to 10, he picked me to be a partaker. I said, may God bless him. May God reward him.
The event was attended by top political stakeholders within and outside Oyibo local government area of Rivers State. Osinachi Samuel, Nta News.
The Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokpobiri, has reiterated government's commitment to ensuring benefits of oil production extend to local communities. Lydia Sampson has details.
Reiterating that the success of the oil industry depends on the active participation of all stakeholders, Heineken Lokpobiri is most particular about the host communities, whose welfare, he says, is paramount. He added that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to addressing every necessary obstacle and concern to achieve the goal of increased crude oil production, as stipulated by the PIA.
Yes. And so I want to use this opportunity to solicit for your support, and by extension, solicit for the support of all traditional rulers, in Promo clan, and indeed Bayelsa State, to work with us, so that we ramp up, production. That's the only way more money can come to the host comes, fund. Where the more oil that you produce within the domain, the more money you have in that cluster. And so I want a solution where it will be a win-win, situation for everybody.
The minister reiterated this when he received a delegation from the Federated Communities of Ekeremo local government area in Bayelsa State, who paid them a courtesy call to express their displeasure over what they describe as perceived neglect by operators within their community. He commended them for their unwavering support and partnership with the federal government in safeguarding the nation's shared resources. He assured them that immediate steps will be taken in addressing all the issues they raised, including matters related to the host communities trust fund. Lokpobiri urged them to continue their steadfast support to the federal government in ramping up crude oil production. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
The Center for Accountability and Transparency is urging the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate alleged dirty fuel being distributed in the country by some petrol stations. Convener of the centre, Okwa Dan, at a media briefing in Abuja, believes that development has caused harm to some consumers in different forms, including economic losses due to damaged automobiles and generators.
The National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRE, must similarly look into the impact of these tainted oil products on the environment.
The Nigerian Army is reaffirming its commitment to professionalism in the pursuit of its constitutional mandate to ensure the security of the nation. This was the thrust of the 2024 Chief of Army Staff Combined Second and Third Quarters Conference holding in Iyo, Akwa Ibom. Evelyn Badu Ekpo reports.
The convergence of principal officers of the Army, formations, corps and tri-services institutions is part of efforts to review and re-strategize emerging security challenges for optimal security. The Nigerian Army recognizes the safety of citizens while condemning the recent nationwide protests and oil theft in the South-South region. A review of the Nigerian Army's agricultural policy for a boost to support government's policy to resolve food crisis formed part of deliberations.
The Nigerian Army will not allow itself to be used to undemocratically sell some interests to power as a service that received the most image bashing as a fallout of previous military interventions in Nigeria. The Nigerian Army is now poised to losing the new prestige it has painstakingly built in the past 25 years.
Security is a key requirement for national development, and history has shown that one institution that plays and continues to play a key role in achieving the much needed security is the Nigerian Army.
Welfare for officers and men of the Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff affirms, is of priority as claims for widows of fallen heroes and maimed soldiers were symbolically presented with checks. The conference is expected to make projections for critical security issues in the fourth quarter. Evelyn Badu Ekpo, Nta News.
And the Nigerian Defence Academy has joined the League of Military Institutions that have signed in on the international humanitarian law across the world. Haruna Mohammed reports that the Memorandum of Understanding between the Nigerian Defence Academy and the International Committee of the Red Cross is a significant milestone towards producing officers of international repute.
International humanitarian law is a set of rules that seek humanitarian reasons and limits to the effects of armed conflicts, especially on civilians. And this visit by the International Committee of the Red Cross to the Nigerian Defence Academy is to commit pen to paper. Having signed on a symposium acceding to the international humanitarian law for passing out cadets with the team lead putting cadets through the nitty-gritty of international humanitarian law as well as the application of the 7 fundamental principles in the theaters of operation. The Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General John Ochai, represented, says the partnership with the International Committee of the Red Cross will ensure that future officers are equipped with the knowledge and understanding to uphold all international laws of armed conflicts and ensure protection of rights of civilians during the times of war and conflicts.
This will help to increase their knowledge on the international humanitarian law, not only theoretically, but also in the future.
The world is evolving and we have new set of security challenges, and we need to equip the cadets with all the skills they need to survive in the current environment we find ourselves.
Because they are trained to be platoon commanders, so they will be the ones that will, make first contact with the adversaries and as well as address the issues.
The Nigerian Defence Academy has long been committed to producing officers of international caliber, and this event is a significant milestone to the academy producing officers of international repute. From the Nigerian Defense Academy, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
The objective of the President's administration is to curb housing challenges and ensure the delivery of quality, accessible and affordable houses to Nigerians. It is in line with these goals that the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, inaugurated the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria with mandates. Francis Udojo reports.
One board, which we are integrated, should focus on its mandate, which include determining who qualifies as estate surveyors or valuers. We have to establish the required standards of knowledge and skill for those seeking registration as estate surveyors and valuers. Also to maintain the register of qualified persons and publishing the list periodically. I hereby include the estate surveyors and valuers Registration Board of Nigeria.
Part of the objectives mentioned by the minister is for the ESVABON board to regulate and control the practice of estate surveying and valuation and other mandates as conferred by the Act of 1976.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has mandated the Federal Minister of Housing and Urban Development to transform the housing sector. Therefore, all agencies, institutions and prestataries under the ministry must be alive to their responsibilities and work hard towards achieving the objectives for which we are set.
As we embark on this new chapter, the board will continue to significantly contribute to the growth and development of the Nigerian economy.
The ESVABON chairman, Doso Fatokun, added that the focus of the board will be to strengthen its regulatory framework, promote innovation and technology adoption, among others. The group, however, recommends that estate surveyors and valuers be drawn into the renewed Hope Housing Plan of government as consultants for prompt delivery. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Chairman of the Kingmakers Council in the Ningi Emirates, Waziri of Ningi Ambassador Shuaibu Ahmed Adamu, says 3 emirship nominees will be forwarded to Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed for his approval of one of them as the new emir of Ningi. This was his remark after the Kingmakers emergency meeting as part of the selection process for the new emir. Muazu Hassan reports.
It was immediately after the burial of the late emir of Ningi, Yunus Danyaya, that the declaration of interest by those entitled to hold the thrones has commences. The new emir selection process of at least 3 nominees is expected to be completed on Wednesday, which is the 3rd traditional mourning day for the late emir.
Certainly, they will not get to know the new emir until after the 3 days of mourning, and then the kingmakers will do open the selection process, and then thereafter we will pass on to the state government. The state government is the final decision maker, so the governor will decide among the people that will present to fill in the vacancies too.
It really doesn't take much time. I wouldn't want to say exact days, but it is definite. It does not take much time. Probably within maximum of 48 hours.
Meanwhile, sympathizers from across the country and beyond have continued to visit the ancient town of Ningi for their condolences. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
You've been watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here's a recap of our top stories. An ending quest for economic boom. President Bola Tinubu to embark on state visit to China. Nigeria receives 10,000 doses of Mpox vaccine from US government. Federal government promises benefits of oil production to host communities. And First Lady Oluremi Tinubu advocates stiffer punishments for perpetrators of sexual abuse. Over now to our sports desk for happenings in the world of sports.
Captain William Ekong, wingback Olaoluwa Aina, and forwards Victor Osimhen, Taiwo Awoniyi are back in the Super Eagles' nest for next month's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic and Rwanda. This year's African's man of the competition, Ekong, was discountenanced for the match days 3 and 4 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying race in June as he was recovering from injury, while Aina, Awoniyi and reigning African Player of the Year Victor Osimhen were out injured altogether. There are 3 goalkeepers, including African 2023 star Stanley Nwabali, 7 defenders, 6 midfielders, and 7 forwards. The Super Eagles go up against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on Saturday 7th September, before flying to Kigali to take on the Amavubi at the Amahoro Stadium on Tuesday 10th September. In tennis, world number 1 Yannick Sinner and 4-time Grand Slam champion Carlos Alcaraz were both given scares in their US Open first-round matches. Italy's Sinner lost the first set before regrouping to beat American Mackenzie McDonald 2-6, 6-2, 6-1, 6-2 on the second day's play in New York. The Italian was playing his first match since it emerged he had been cleared of any wrongdoings after twice testing positive for a banned substance earlier this year. Alcaraz, the reigning French Open and Wimbledon champion, overcame a scrappy second set to see off Australian qualifier Li Tu 6-2, 4-6, 6-3, 6-1.
Game set match Alcaraz. 2 sets to 1, 6-2, 4-6, 6-3, 6-1.
And the sports package by Daniel Hadiri concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.